Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Garima Jain from Rajasthan Technical University Kota. Today we are going to talk on module Employee Welfare from the paper Human Resource Management. After completing this module, the students will be able to understand the meaning and definition of employee welfare, have a knowledge of the welfare agencies and welfare schemes, have a knowledge of the provisions of employee welfare as given under the Factories Act 1948. Introduction. Industrial progress of a country depends on its committed labor force. In this regard, the importance of labor welfare was recognized as early as 1931 when the Royal Commission on Labour stated that the benefits which undergo this nomenclature are of great importance to the worker who is unable to secure by themselves. The schemes of labor welfare may be regarded as a wise investment which usually brings a profitable return in the form of greater efficiency. Employee welfare means the efforts to make life worth living for workmen. According to Todd, employee welfare means anything done for the comfort and improvement, intellectual or social, of the employees over and above the wages paid, which is not a necessity of the industry. Features of employee welfare. Employee welfare is a comprehensive term including various services, facilities, and amenities provided to employees for their betterment. It generally includes those items of welfare that is provided by statutory provisions or required by the customs of the industry or the expectations of employees from the contract of service from the employers. The basic purpose is to improve the life of the working class. The purpose of providing welfare amenities is to bring about the development of the whole personality of the worker, his social, psychological, economic, moral, cultural, and intellectual development, to make him a good worker, a good citizen, and a good member of the family. Employee welfare is a dynamic concept. These facilities may be provided voluntarily by progressive and enlightened entrepreneurs from their own side out of their realization of social responsibility towards labor, or statutory provisions may compel them to make these facilities available, or these may be undertaken by the government or trade unions if they have the necessary funds for the purpose. Employee welfare measures are also known as fringe benefits and services. Labor welfare is a very broad term covering social security, and such are the activities as medical aid, crèches, canteens, recreation, housing, adult education, arrangements for the transport of labor to and from the workplace. Objectives of employee welfare. Employee welfare is in the interest of the employee, the employer, and the society as a whole. The labor or the employee welfare work aims at providing such service facilities and amenities as would enable the workers employed in the industries or factories to perform their work in a healthy and a favorable surroundings conducive to good health and high morale. It is partly humanistic, for it enables the workers to enjoy a fuller and richer life. It is partly economic, as it improves the efficiency of the worker and keeps him contented and satisfied. It therefore minimizes the desire of the workers to form unions and to resort to strikes. The aim is partly civic because it develops a sense of responsibility and dignity amongst the workers and thus makes them good citizens of the nation. Now, what are the employee welfare agencies? The central government, state government, employers, and trade unions. Now, first of all, we will discuss the central government. The central government has made elaborate provisions
for the health, safety, and welfare under Factories Act 1948 and Mines Act 1952. These acts provide for canteens, crèches, restrooms, shelters, etc. State government in different states and union territories provide welfare facilities to workers. State government prescribes rules for the welfare of the workers and ensures compliance with the provisions under various labor laws. The employers. Now, the employers in India in generally looked upon welfare work as fruitless and barren, though some of them indeed had done in pioneering work. The trade unions. In India, trade unions have done little for the welfare of workers, but few second and strong unions have been the pioneering in this respect. For example, the Ahmedabad Textiles Labour Association and the Mazdoor Sabha are some of them.
Labor welfare schemes. Labor welfare schemes, they may be statutory, voluntary, or mutual. It is statutory when such activities have to be undertaken in lieu of the legislation given by the government, like drinking water facility, giving first aid, electricity, etc. It is voluntary when the activities are undertaken from their own side by the employers. For example, providing flexible timing to the employee, providing them with regular health checkup camp, etc. It is mutual when all the parties they join hands to bring about social and economic fulfillment of the workers. On the basis of location of welfare activities, the type of welfare services are as follows.
Intramural. Intramural are those things which are provided within the organization. These are those facilities one must say, like the canteen, the restroom, the crèches, the uniform, the drinking water. Continuing with the intramural activities or intramural facilities, then they are further as washing and bathing facilities, provision of safety measures like fencing and covering of machines, good layout of machinery and plant, fire extinguishers, provision of pension, provident fund, fringe benefits, etc. The extramural facilities. These are provided outside the organization, such as housing, education, child welfare, leave travel facilities, interest-free loans, workers' cooperative stores, vocational guidance, etc. Labor welfare in India. In recent years, Indian organizations have started giving attention to the welfare. The following facilities are provided in most organizations: educational facilities for the workers and their children in the form of provision of schools, reading room, libraries, financial assistance, etc. Medical facilities for workers and their families in the form of well-equipped first aid centers, ambulance rooms, dispensaries for the treatment of diseases like TB, cancer, leprosy, mental disease, etc. The labor welfare schemes in India, like the transport facilities for workers residing at a long distance and the grant of conveyance allowances, recreational facilities to provide the worker an opportunity to develop a sense of physical and mental discipline in the form of music, dance, drama, games and sports, paintings, hobbies, and other cultural activities. Further continuing with the labor welfare in India, I shall be telling you about the housing facilities are made available in the form of self-contained tents. They contain all the facilities like electricity, sanitation, water supply, etc. Consumer cooperative societies which provide members with good quality food grains and other useful items at reasonable prices. In this, I shall be giving an example of Accenture. Accenture in India offers a wide range of employee benefits to suit employee needs, business requirements, and local laws. The company focuses on health and the well-being of the employees. Accenture has created a gymnasium at the office so that the time of employees is saved of going to some private gym. Various sports facilities are available inside the campus. The company is among the growing number of organizations that encourages flexi timing and work from home facility. Employees and their families are invited for celebrations, and the company also has days for bringing family members to the office. Further continuing with the examples of labor welfare in India, NIT, it has also led the practice of providing the creative benefits to employees that were designed around the life stage. The objective was to make the company attractive to work for and also to retain employees. The list of benefits include wedding allowances, little NITians care aimed at children of employees, birthday gifts and celebrations and family days. The Factories Act 1948. Now, in this come the facilities like washing, facilities for storing and drying clothing, facilities for sitting, first aid appliances, canteens, shelters, restrooms, lunch rooms, crèches, welfare officers. The principles of employee welfare service. The service should satisfy real and individual needs of the workers, and this can be done by the active participation of workers. The service should be such as can be handled by cafeteria approach. An employee benefit plan that allows staff to choose from a variety of benefits to formulate a plan that best suits their needs. This comes under the cafeteria approach. Cafeteria plan options may include health and accident insurance, cash benefits, tax advantages, retirement plan contributions. Due to the difference in sex, age, marital status, number of children, type of job, and the income level of employees, there are large number in their choice of a particular benefit. This is known as the cafeteria approach. Such an approach individualizes the benefit system, though it may be difficult to operate and administer. Further considering with the principles of employee welfare, we see that the employer should not assume a benevolent posture. The cost of the service should be calculated and its financing established on a sound basis. There should be periodical assessment or evaluation of the service, and necessary corrective action must be taken on the basis of the feedback.
Employee welfare activities at Toyota. Toyota has kept pace with the changing times by accommodating the growing needs of its employees as their lifestyles and values have diversified alongside rising standards of living, declining birth rates, and the aging of the population in Japan. 2000, Toyota introduced Well Choice, a flexible welfare program that allows employees to select the benefits and support they want based on their own needs and lifestyles. At Toyota, human relation activities are constituted by a range of voluntary activities aimed at improving the quality of teamwork and human relationships between employees. These activities are held both within and outside the workplace and serve an important role in helping employees to create fulfilling lives. Employee welfare activities at Toyota. As you can see in this figure or in this chart, the human relation activities have been divided into internal groups, Hurai activities, hobby and alumni group activities, Toyota clubs, and associations of each dormitory. In internal groups, it is to strive to build camaraderie between members, promote self development, and contribute to company growth. In Hurai activities, it is to expand human interaction, that is, to encourage communication beyond the workplace. Then, in hobby and alumni group activities, you can create human networks through hobbies and alma maters. Then, In the Toyota clubs, it helps employees create enjoyable relationships by supporting their physical and cultural development. Then, associations of each dormitory. In this, you have to improve human relations under the theme of making happier dorms. Then, in internal groups, the General Manager Association with Takumi no Kai Association. Then there is Miki no Kai Association. Then Shono Kai Association, CX Association, SX Association, and EX Association in the internal groups. Then in Hurai activities, there are company and group events, workplace events, and roundtables in each group or teams. Under the Toyota clubs, there are sports clubs and cultural clubs. In sports club, it promotes sports activities in and outside the company, encourage participation and cooperation in company events. And in cultural clubs, it promotes deeper interaction with local communities, encourage participation and cooperation in company events. Now we shall discuss about the employee welfare activities at Tata Steel. Business should promote the well-being of all the employees. Then first is the employee welfare. Since its inception, Tata Steel has always views its people as its greatest asset. Measures taken by the company became a part of modern India's laws and a part of the conventions of the International Labour Organization. The company endeavors to be an employer of choice by fostering an environment of aspirational goal setting, continuous improvement, in addition to health and safety and corporate responsibility. Then comes the right to freedom of association and collective bargaining. Tata Steel respects the right of employees to exercise freedom of association and collective bargaining. Trade unions are present and encouraged at all locations. All non-officers, that is 86% of the total workforce in India, are represented by 26 independent trade associations across the company's locations. Challenges faced are discussed with the recognized unions at scheduled meetings. Further, we will continue that what all activities are there or employee welfare activities are there at Tata Steel. Then there are joint consultations. Established in 1956, the three-tiered joint consultation system provides a platform for issues related to production, productivity, quality, safety, welfare training, grievance handling mechanism. The company has an informal online grievance resolution process called Samadhan and a three-tier formal grievance resolution mechanism. Unresolved grievances are referred to the Central Works Committee. In the financial year 2011-12, the committee addressed 6 grievances, of which 2 were resolved to the satisfaction of the employees concerned. Then comes the equal opportunity employer. Tata Steel recognizes and values the differences in employee backgrounds and skills and promotes equal access to employment and supply opportunities without any discrimination. That is, it does not discriminate, it gives equal opportunity to every employee. Any alleged violation of the equal opportunity policies is investigated and if found valid, acted upon. Then, promoting a just and fair workplace. The level of wages and salaries of all employees, except for instances the senior managers in Europe, skilled employees at Nat Steel, and the officers category in India, are defined and determined by periodic collective bargaining or wage arrangements. The company complies strictly with rules and regulations stipulated by local governments on minimum wages paid to employees. Further, I would like to tell you certain activities at Tata Steel, that is, caring for the well being of its employees, including those with special needs. Committees comprising representatives of the union and management jointly monitor employee benefits. The following benefits are provided beyond statutory obligations: workplace amenities superior to those prescribed by law, highly subsidized and quality canteen facilities, employee health provisions, monetary incentives for higher studies, family benefit scheme, TISCO employees pension scheme, in which the company and employee make an equal contribution towards the funds, maternity leave provisions, early separation scheme for non-officers of the company who have been rendered surplus. Then comes providing a safe, hygienic, and humane workplace. The Safety Excellence Journey enables the company to continuously improve occupational health and safety management using internationally recognized standards. The Safety Excellence Journey was launched in Tata Steel Thailand in 2010 with support from Tata Steel India. Now comes the safety governance structure. The management is responsible for training and supervising employees on safe procedures and healthcare, providing information on safety hazards and providing safety appliances. It is also responsible for the company's compliance with statutory provisions on health and safety. The company constantly strives to achieve its goal of a zero fatality rate and a lost time due to injury frequency rate, that is LTIFR. Next comes the point of skill development and creating world-class employees. The Tata Steel Management Development Center creates managerial and functional training opportunities for all officers of Tata Steel India, while the Shavak Nanavati Technical Institute SNTI is responsible for technical and functional training of officers and non-officers. In April 2011, the Tata Steel Academy was launched in Europe to enable employees to achieve the highest standards of technical and professional expertise. During financial year 2011-12, Net Steel invested a total of 18,432.9 man-hours in training. Then it provides a harassment-free workplace to all. Tata Steel aims to have a discrimination-free workplace. Guidance on a harassment-free workplace is taken from the Tata Code of Conduct and the company's human resource, sexual harassment, and affirmative action policies. Benefits of welfare schemes. The important benefits of welfare measures can be summarized as follows. They provide better physical and mental health to the workers and thus promote a healthy work environment. Facilities like housing schemes, medical benefits, education, and recreation facilities for workers' families, they help in raising their standards of living. This makes workers to pay more attention towards work and thus it increases their productivity. Employers get stable labor workforce by providing welfare facilities. Workers take active interest in their jobs and work with a feeling of involvement and participation. Employee welfare measures increase the productivity of organization and promote healthy industrial relations, thereby maintaining industrial peace. The social evils that are common among the laborers, such as abusing, teasing, are reduced to a greater extent by the welfare policies. So, students, let us now summarize what we have learned in this particular module. Employee welfare means the efforts to make life worth living for workmen. The labor employee welfare work aims at providing such service facilities and amenities as would enable the workers employed in the industries, factories to perform their work in healthy and pleasant surroundings which are favorable to a good health and high morale. Employee welfare measures they increase the productivity of the organization and promote healthy industrial relations, thereby maintaining industrial peace. Labor welfare schemes they may be statutory, voluntary, or mutual, as we have seen while discussing the module. It is statutory when such activities they have to be undertaken in lieu of the legislation given by the government like drinking water, first aid, electricity, etc. It is voluntary when the activities are undertaken from their own side by the employers. For example, providing flexible timing to the employees, providing them with regular health checkup camp, etc. It is mutual when all the parties they join hands to bring about the social and economic upliftment of the worker. Welfare services can be intramural or extramural. Intramural when provided inside the organization like canteens, restrooms, providing them with the uniforms. They are extramural as we have seen while we were discussing reading the module when they are provided outside the organization like housing facilities, education loans, etc. Thank you.